like to win.
Looking end zone, throws, touchdown.
Taking a deep shot. DK is down there. DK, touchdown.
Tighten up.
Let's get it, Chad. Tighten up, Chad. Stop playing, Chad. Tighten up, man.
Hey, welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible Live, MCA Live, recapping Titans-Texans. Texans pull off the last second win, 16-13. We are presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville, in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. Justin, I feel like we have a lot to talk about from this game. The Titans fall 16-13, as I said, on a last-second game-winning field goal by the Texans. But just before that, Cam Ward leads a clutch, game-winning drive, making plays with his legs, plays through the air. How are you feeling coming off of this last game?
Doing well. You know we're live and we can't course correct because Graver said game-winning. It was a game-tying drive at the end there. That was... for what, 55 minutes? That was an incredibly boring game.
Yeah.
It kind of had the feel of a preseason game to me, especially in the first half. In all honesty, it's like, what was it 3-0 at halftime, 6-0 at halftime, something like
3-0.
3-0. Felt like a preseason game to me. Finally, it came alive in the last couple of minutes there. I mean, I think we've got a lot to talk about regarding Cam Ward. I guess we do that on this episode. I don't know if we leave it for tomorrow or what, but I think Cam Ward is obviously going to be the topic because there was a lot of debate on the timeline. I got into it. I wish I didn't with some people because it just drives me insane. But I got into it with a lot of people. A lot of debate regarding Cam Ward's performance in this game. And but at the end there, I mean, no room for debate on that one, right? Like it's a gotta-have-it situation. They get the ball. They're backed up on their own end. They're down 7 points, and he leads a game-tying drive. That includes a bunch of quick, easy passes, makes the smart decision early, and then a huge run, to get them across midfield. When I saw the flag thrown in the backfield, I was so upset. It's definitely going to be a hold, but it's an illegal hands to the face on the Texans. The play stands like a 20-yard run for Cam Ward. Again, gets them in plus territory. And then they get backed up. It's 3rd and 16. I was ready to wave the white flag, to be honest with you. And he hits that gorgeous, gorgeous throw, one of the best he's made all year, down the sideline to Chig to get the Titans into a 1st and goal situation. I mean, what a pass that was. And then he hits the game-tying touchdown, I believe, 2 plays later to Van Jefferson. It's funny. Maybe if this game had a bit more excitement or had a bit more points and productivity from the offense, if you're someone who's rooting for the Titans to lose, that's the kind of loss you're looking for, right? Where Cam Ward has a great drive, puts something together, and then they lose it in the end, not because of Cam Ward, because of something else. But the rest of that game was so uneven offensively. I don't think it was quite, reach the ideal loss territory.
That's fair. I did text a buddy of mine, as soon as Houston got the ball, he texted me too much time. And I said, that's good. That's a good thing. We got to see Cam Ward have a super clutch moment with, like you said, that pass to Chig under pressure, getting hit as he throws it and lays it out there perfectly. And how about credit to Chig? Somebody finally tracks the ball and makes a play. Diving catch. I mean, it wasn't an easy catch. It's a catch that every NFL receiver or tight end who is a pass catcher should make. So I'm not going to give him super credit, but at least he did it. And that hadn't happened yet for this team in this game. But yeah, my buddy texted me too much time. And I said, this is exactly what we want. We get to see this moment from Cam, and then Houston's going to go down and win this game. And the Titans will stay in sole possession, no tiebreaker necessary, of the number 1 overall pick. Yeah, there's a few things I definitely want to hit in this game. There's some chat messages here that hit on something that I literally put this in our group chat during the game. Iron Grids TV, when you're in opposing territory and the coaching staff runs the ball on 3rd and 3, then doesn't go for it on 4th and 3, I don't know what else your QB can do. This is what I texted you guys. I said, if you're you have 2 options on 3rd and 3. You run the ball because you're going to go for it on 4th down. or you put the ball in Cam Ward's hands because you're going to kick the field goal on third down. If you run the ball to kick the field goal, you're just a coward. You're just a loser coward, playing not to lose, not playing aggressive, not playing to win. And we don't know how that drive would have ended, right? But obviously, if they convert it and they end up going down and getting 7 points instead of 3 there, they win the game, or Houston needs a touchdown on that last possession. Like, obviously, we don't know that would have happened, so we can't just assume that would have happened. And on the flip side, you can say if they don't get it, then the Titans wouldn't have even been in position to tie the game at the end. They would have been down 10, right? So I understand both sides of the argument, and it's not the most cowardly decision a Titans coach has made this year. It's probably only the 6th or 7th most cowardly. But you're a 1-8 team. Your defense has played pretty well. I think as good as you can hope.
Really
this
well.
group of this
at
talent.
At that point, it was 3-0.
Exactly. Yeah. It's as well as you could possibly hope to be playing. You're shutting them out at this point in the game. You got to go for that. You just have to go for that. When you're a 1-8 team with a rookie quarterback who needs every bit of experience I keep talking about this every week because I keep doing it in these high leverage situations. Let him throw the ball or try to make a play. And if he gets sacked, he gets sacked. Whatever.
Mike McCoy's a coward, right?
He is.
He's an old school coach who coaches not to lose. That's just the philosophy he believes in. It's that simple. He thinks coaching not to lose wins football games. And he's been very wrong in his tenure with the Titans with that philosophy. It's par for the course. It's how he's coached every game, essentially, since he's been the interim. What really bothered me about that one specifically was that they haven't run the football effectively at all, right? And they didn't the entire game. Right? Tony Pollard, I think, finished this game averaging 2.2 yards per carry. Tajay Spears, who I believe was the one who had that 3rd and 3 carry, averaged less than 1 yard per carry in this game.
4 carries for
3 yards.
3 yards.
Right? So I agree.
With a long of one. A long of one for Tajay Spears in the run game.
I don't have a problem with you running the ball in that situation as long as you know you're going for it on 4th down. I agree.
Exactly.
But to run it, to kick, and then I said this, I don't even remember what happened 2 weeks ago with this team. I mean, specifically with Mike McCoy. But I remember saying 2 weeks ago that Mike McCoy got what he deserved, right? And he got what he deserved in this one too, because what happens? Kicks the field goal, Texans get the ball, immediately go down, score a touchdown. They lead 7-6. Titans would never reclaim the lead again after making that decision. So for me, it's par for the course for what Mike McCoy does.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more on Cam Ward. Yes, I agree with this. Yeah, we can look back and say, oh, they didn't win, so they should have gone for it. But I think all of us in the moment had the exact same response too. Cam Ward finishes this game just under 64% completion. That's a great mark that we haven't really seen much of from him. Is that right? 64.8. Sorry, just under 65% completion. So you love to see that. He started the game 9 of 12. He was in a rhythm. He was playing well, and literally, not to harp on, I don't want to spend the whole podcast on that one third and 3, don't go for it play sequence, but the announcers had literally just finished talking about how Cam Ward was in a rhythm, and he's in a rhythm. Let him throw the ball and let him experience it. There's questions in the chat here about he had a great one drive, but what about the rest of the game? Well, what about the rest of the game? What about the part of the game where they start in their first 18 plays, they commit 5 penalties on offense? 5 in the first 18 plays. And Cam Ward overcame the penalties on the first drive to lead a field goal. He went and got points despite back-to-back false starts in the same sequence that set up a 3rd and 13. You have another false start by J.C. Latham right before the 2-minute warning where you're not even going to snap the ball. How do you false start in a situation where you're not even going to snap the ball? What? Is this a coaching issue where the communication's not clear? Is this a focus issue? I mean, how many false starts did J.C. Latham have in this game? 3, 4? It's just insane that we can look at the quarterback who was not perfect. And it's okay for us to sit here and say Cam Ward missed Alec Iamaner deep multiple times in this game. Cam Ward has to protect the ball a little better on the strip sack, although I challenge you guys to watch strip sacks around the league, and you'll see that's what most of them look like. Pretty instant pressure, collapsing pocket, quarterback's trying to get rid of the ball because he knows the rush is closing in, and the defense makes a good play. Will Anderson Jr. made an unbelievable play on the strip sack. I agree Cam Ward has to protect the ball, but on that one, you almost tip your hat to the defense, because if you look at strip sacks around the league, the best quarterbacks in the league do this. Josh Allen, who had 6 touchdowns today, granted, he made up for some of his mistakes. Threw a chest pass interception from his own goal line. Like, every quarterback's going to make some mistakes. But when the rest of the offense is just cratering just like completely unplayable bad, then those mistakes that the quarterback makes get super spotlighted and amplified. And it's not fair to ask your number 1 overall pick rookie quarterback in his 10th game ever to go out there and be perfect and carry your offense. He needs to be supported. He's a rookie, for God's sake. Do we forget this? Like, it just drives me bonkers watching the conversation on the timeline because Cam Ward makes 2, I will say, negative plays in a row. He misses the guy on 2nd and 10. He gets strip sacked on 3rd and 10. It's like, oh, we're just going to throw out the fact that the offensive line can't stop committing penalties. Receivers can't run the right routes. Van Jefferson can't attack the ball in the air. He's just going to wait for it to come to him despite tight coverage, there to break up the pass on every single play that isn't a Cam Ward mistake. And then, oh, there's the Cam Ward mistake. We can get on Twitter and talk about how bad he is. It's crazy to me.
I'll probably land somewhere in the middle. I do lean closer to you, but like I want to talk about those first 2 drives in particular. This is for they're not supporting Cam Ward crowd, which I am very much a part of. The first 2 offensive possessions in this game. Now they're a little bit of a blur, but they had a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 8 on I believe it was the first possession. Completes a 9-yard pass to Shim DK to move the chains. Was a nice throw to the sideline. Rhythm, timing, perfect, right? I think it was that drive, the next drive, whatever, doesn't matter. It's 1st and 10. Tony Pollard loses 4 yards on a run. It's 2nd and 14. He makes a beautiful throw to Van Jefferson, I believe, was right across the middle. Ball comes out of his hand quickly. I blocked a guy on Twitter. I felt bad, but I'm like, I can't. I was going back and forth with him for so long, and he was being so snarky. Like, he's like, he didn't. I'm like, he overcame. He's like, show me an example where he overcame. Tony Pollard loses 4 yards on that run. Tell me if I'm crazy. It's 2nd and 14. When you make an 11-yard pass on 2nd and 14 and you get the down and distance to 3rd and 3, that's overcoming, okay?
Absolutely.
Like 100% of NFL coaches will tell you, if I can turn 2nd and 14 into 3rd and 3, I am taking that every single time. And this asshat tells me, well, he didn't overcome because he didn't convert the first down. He makes an 11-yard pass to get him to 3rd and 3. That's when the back-to-back false starts happened on J.C. Latham and Lloyd Cushenberry. It's now 3rd and 13. 3rd and 13, whatever. 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
After he got you out of the first negative play that you just made, and they convert again. He swings it to Tajay Spears. All the credit to Tajay Spears on that one. Makes the guy miss his face. I liked the play call. Get Tajay Spears the ball in space. See if he can make something happen, right? But like 5 penalties on those first 2 possessions. 2 false starts on J.C. Latham. A false start on Lloyd Cushenberry. A false start on Gunnar Helm, and a holding penalty on Kevin Zeitler. Essentially, all 5 penalties committed by the O-line. Gunnar Helm's in there as a blocker. I'm putting that on the blocking unit there. All 4 of them are pre-snap procedural, and they're all 4 were false starts that were procedural. Like, just outrageous. I mean, I'm not to throw our buddy Zach under the bus, but he had mentioned in the group chat. I don't think he went public with it, but like, they're running the hard count on some of these. I don't care, right? Like, it's your job. No, and I imagine they're running the hard count on purpose. Like, you talked about that throughout the week. Maybe you identified opportunities to get them jump offside. Execute it, right? Like, that's your job.
Against a very ferocious pass rush that's going to be
front.
Yes, they're going to be
ears pinned back. They're ready to come after you. You're trying to get them to be over eager, right? You should not be the one that's over eager when that's your game plan.
At home, no less. There's no crowd noise. There's nobody in the stadium. There's nobody there.
To deal with, right? Like, are you kidding? Like, there's no reason to commit all those false starts in those situations. So they just always put his back up against the wall. Now, as the game went on, I started to get a little frustrated with some of the misses. Let's talk about some of the ones. In all honesty, there was that one to Alec Iomanor in the first half that was deep.
Yeah. Before you get too deep on this, I wanted to preface this part of the conversation by reminding everyone knows this, Calvin Ridley leaves the game on the first play. Yes. He's finally back. They finally run an RPO, and they execute it for an 11 or 12-yard gain. Calvin Ridley gets tackled awkwardly and leaves the game. Chim DK on his muffed punt, which was his first mistake as an all-pro level returner this year, gets concussed and knocked out. So they're down 2 receivers. And something that I noticed and also put in the group chat, when Cam Ward started this game 9 of 12, and then his 13th pass was a throwaway on a really nice job of evading pressure and getting rid of the ball to not take a negative play, he was hitting the top of his drop and the ball was coming out. It was like, Susie hit the top of his drop, quick decision, fire, whether it was a check down, whether it was the play to Spears, wherever he was going with the ball, it was out of his hands. It was awesome. He loses his top 2 receivers in Ridley and DK. Second half of this game, completion percentage starts dropping and dropping and dropping. He's like 9 of 12. Now he's like 10 of 17. Now he's like 12 of 22, right? It's just going down. And Cam would hit the top of his drop in the second half, and it wasn't back foot fire. It was back foot bounce, 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 throw, knock down, incomplete, miss deep, sacked, throwaway. There was just the rhythm disappeared. And I can't wait to get my hands or my eyes on the all 22 and see if this is, okay, your top receivers are Mason Kinsey and Van Jefferson, and they're just not creating separation. Or this is Houston's defense adjusted to what they saw in the first half, and they're taking away the first read, so Cam has to bounce for a second, move to his second. Or Cam is just pressing, hesitant, trying to make something big happen because the offense hasn't been able to do much. Maybe it's a combination of all of those things. That's the likeliest explanation. But there was definitely more hesitancy and less rhythm in the second half for the offense, and I think a big part of that had to do with what you wanted to get into, which is those downfield misses that were definitely on him.
Yeah, I think we're having a two-sided conversation here, and that's a good thing, right? Like the pro Cam Ward crowd, if you will. I mean, we're just spitting out the facts. It's not about pro or anti, right? Like, are you going for a...
No, I have a lot of hair everywhere. It's not just growing in the back. It just looks like that when I have a hat on.
It's not, we're giving you the facts, right? Like the offensive supporting cast making all the mistakes that they made. And then part of that is his receiving trio in this game actually became, broken fibula for
Is this real?
I mean,
I'm going to check Twitter.
I haven't seen it yet, but Ridley out for the year. Yeah, it is correct.
Wow.
Yeah, that is correct. I just saw that as well.
That is a bummer, but I mean, it is what it is. Over 30. What did I say on the preview show? Over 30 receiver injuries. I mean, this is a freak injury, but they stack up when you're that old. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Sorry to derail your point.
So his receiving trio after that is Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, and Alec Iomatter. I mean, that's got to be the worst receiving trio in the NFL by a long shot. It's not particularly close, right? So that's for that sides with the. They've made the situation impossible on him, all the offensive penalties. They can't run the football at all, by the way. We briefly touched on that, but 2.2 yards per carry for Pollard, under 1 for Spears. Like, there's just no help at all.
Who was the leading rusher? Who was the Titans' leading rusher in this game?
Cam Ward. Yeah, and it wasn't even close. I didn't have to look. It wasn't even close, I imagine.
33 yards.
That one run he had might have been longer than Tony Pollard's total. It was close.
It was. It was 1 yard longer than what Pollard totaled in 10 carries.
That's what I expected. It was right around the same number. But then the other side of it, right? He did miss one to Alec Iomatter in the first half that he should have hit, right? He misses one to Alec Iomatter in the second half. This is like, I have a hard time with this sequence. I have a hard time defending this sequence, to be honest with you, because he misses it and then he gets strip sacked on the next play. Now, Dan Moore was brutal on that rep in pass protection, but it also wasn't one of those sacks that was like half a second. Like, maybe there was a chance to get that ball out. Maybe not, but it wasn't a half-second sack, right? Like,
at least to throw it away. At least to float it over somebody's head out of bounds.
Right. There might have been enough time to do something there, even though Dan Moore got beat horribly on the play. But you can't defend that sequence, right? You missed the Alec Iomatter throw deep for a second time, and then you get the strip sack, right? He had 3 batted passes in this game. A lot of those, remember, like, they were talking training camp about how many passes he had batted down. Some of that has to do with his mechanics. Sometimes he tends to drop his elbow too low. Doesn't keep it high enough. You got to get that ball to the line of scrimmage. 3 batted passes. It's been a pattern for him. Another lost fumble. It's been a pattern for him. Those things can't happen. There were a couple other misses that were, I don't want to say, I mean, I don't know that they're debatable, but there's 2 to Mason Kinsey specifically, right? The first one to Mason Kinsey was a big one. It led, I believe, to the Mike McCoy cowardly field goal, right? Like, it was in that same possession. So
it was 2 plays before it, because right after that play, Ward hit somebody for like a 7-yard gain.
Right, and it made it to 3rd and 3 that Tajay, they had the surrender run, if you will. But
yeah,
surrender run on 3rd and 3 shouldn't be a thing, but it is with this offense. That one to Mason Kinsey, the first one, obviously, I tend to put it on Cam Ward. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there, probably.
Let me explain what I think.
Give me a second. I think ideally, again, open to interpretation, because I think there's a chance that it's not on Cam Ward. My opinion as of right now is to put it on Cam Ward, because ultimately I'm going to lean towards, if he puts it on his chest, he makes the play. He might even score a touchdown if he puts it on his chest. But it's a little bit outside the numbers, and Mason Kinsey's not quite ready for it. But yeah, I thought that was a huge misfire on the offense. And go ahead.
Let me try to change your mind, because, and this is obviously full total speculation, but Mason Kinsey's in the game, right? Mason Kinsey is not in the game plan to be in the game. He's a special teamer and an emergency option if Chimere Dike gets hurt. Chimere Dike gets hurt, so Mason Kinsey's in the game. Who has Cam Ward repped this play with all week in practice? Not Mason Kinsey. Mason Kinsey's maybe repped this play with Brandon Allen, if they've even gotten a chance to run it themselves, right? There's a pretty good chance Mason Kinsey has not run this play once all week. And it's a kind of a complicated play. It's like a wheel out, up, out, and up. It's like you come up, you go out, you go up again. It's like it's a complicated route where the timing and the landmarks are probably very specific for the quarterback and the receiver, as you have an intentional moving, rolling pocket out to the right side. And I'm not going to fully excuse Cam Ward, and I'm also not going to say Mason Kinsey is at fault or is to blame. I think it's just a circumstantial thing where you have the backup receiver in who hasn't run this play all week, and now you have the opportunity to run this play, and it was really well designed because it worked, got Kinsey wide open, and he's just not in the right spot or doesn't get his head around quick enough, which is what it looked like to me, is that he didn't get his head around quick enough, and maybe the accuracy wasn't quite there, but if he gets his head around quick enough, it's like the catch, I think, I want to say Gunnar Helm or Iron Man or somebody had on the sideline where Cam Ward throws it over there, and it's not necessarily on the money. He has to like slide back to get the ball. If Mason Kinsey gets his head around faster, he probably is able to locate it and catch it. So I really think that one, I'll call it a miscommunication, but I really think that one was just a guy not having run that play and not being in the spot that his quarterback expected him to be in. And then Mason Kinsey on the second one that you said you're not sure if it's debatable. This is the one you got went back and forth with a number of people on Twitter with, and I went through and liked every single one of your replies in this thread, where the ball just bounces off Mason Kinsey's hands. And like, is the pass a little out of frame for a 5'10 receiver? Maybe a little out of frame, but the point is the receiver gets both hands on that ball. You know who catches that pass? Xavier Restrepo.
Look, that's the one I argued with. I went back and forth with JT from A to Z Sports, who said everyone in the press box agreed with him, except Paul Koharski, who tweeted that Mason Kinsey should have made that play. I'm bang on with you, and I'd love to get some comments on it. I thought that, yeah, it was so slightly out in front, but once again, I want a professional NFL wide receiver to make that catch. I expect you to make that catch every single time. I really do. And by the way, there was one in the first half too to Alec Iomanner that was similar, where he kind of double catches it and is not able to get his feet in bounds. I thought the ball placement on that was essentially perfect. But it was another example of a Titans receiver just not being able to make a play for the quarterback that, in my opinion, they should have made. Is it a difficult play? Yes. Is it really difficult to play in the NFL? Yes. I hold NFL players to high standards. Everyone does. They get paid a lot of money to make those plays. So I felt that in both cases, Iomanner and Mason Kinsey on the second one should have made those plays.
And I'm not joking when I say Xavier Restrepo makes that catch. Like, Xavier Restrepo played an entire season with Cam Ward and had one of the lowest drop rates in all of college football. He knows Ward's speed on those passes, which people have complained he's throwing the ball too hard. And then I don't know if you ever go watch Troy Aikman or Brett Favre throw a football and tell me that Cam Ward's throwing the ball too hard, then you haven't watched a lot of football in your life. And Xavier Restrepo understands the speed that ball's coming in, and he made a ton. And you know how much Xavier Restrepo catches I watched last year? All of them, because I watched every Cam Ward throw that he made at Miami between January and April. I watched every single throw he made, okay? Xavier Restrepo makes that catch 1,000 times out of 1,000. That's his bread and butter. There's been a lot of chat comments in here asking us if we think it'll be Xavier Restrepo season, if James Prochet gets called up first, if some random receiver that we've never heard of who got signed off the practice squad or got signed to the practice squad recently, will jump Xavier Restrepo. Look, it is likely, because it's a slot receiver, that James Prochet might get the call up before Xavier Restrepo, but Calvin Ridley's out for the season, which sucks. Sucks for Cam, sucks for the offense the rest of the way, sucks for him, sucks for the bet I made on Calvin Ridley to have over 900 receiving yards, sucks for a lot of reasons. But you lose him and DK, you're probably calling up 2 guys, especially if Elikiah Manor, who was in and out of this game multiple times in the medical
I don't think
tent.
we're calling up 2 guys. I think we're going to be so disappointed in this one because I think the receiving core next week is Van Jefferson, Elikiah Manor, James Prochet, and Mason Kinsey. I think they're going to go with those 4.
What if Io's hurt too? Io, I don't know.
Well, then they've got no choice but to call up Restrepo because they've got no one left. But Io came back in that game, so I'm expecting he's going to be available. But unless, he wakes up tomorrow, he's more sore than he realized, which is within the realm of possibility. We'll see. But I hope that doesn't happen because I want to see what they do if they only have to bring up 1 receiver.
Yeah, I am curious, but I tend to think it'll be Prochet. Prochet's been called up at an earlier point in the season. Like, it already happened for him. Right. So if Restrepo's in a place now where he can jump Prochet, that'd be great. But I don't think it's going to be there. I don't know. I wanted to talk a little bit more about Cam Ward's ability to use his legs in this game because it's something we've been harping on. And I think ultimately, as we judge this season and Cam Ward, for the last 8 games, 7 remaining now after today, one of the things we're looking for is just growth in the little areas that we've been needing to see. And I talked about this a little bit. Paul Kaharski wrote a great article about this last week about how some of the big time changes that we need to see from Cam Ward, you're not going to fix in season. There's simply not enough time to fix your mechanics, to stop dropping your arm angle, to really set your base and have your footwork be more consistent. Those are things he's going to work on in the offseason. And whether or not he can correct those things are going to differentiate him from being a potential franchise top 10 NFL quarterback and average level starter or worse. Like, that's going to be a huge differentiation point, is what he does himself personally to improve this offseason. But for the rest of this season, there are little things that we are still looking for improvement in. And one of those is that awareness and that ability to get outside of a pocket that's collapsing, use your legs, and pick up yards with your legs. And he had 3 carries for 33 yards in this game. He had a 10-yard run. He had a 20-yard run. Like, he did that in this game, I thought, as much as he probably could have. And he maybe tried to do it one too many times and ended up with one of the 3 sacks. But I think that was a real growth moment for him. Something that, going into the bye was a point of emphasis, came out 1 game later, and it didn't happen until the 4th quarter. But when it happened, and it was great to see.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 great runs in this game, I thought, so it was nice to see. And I'd like to see him continue using his legs to make plays because, I mean, on both of those runs, you really are reminded, it's silly, but you're reminded of, why doesn't he do this more often? He's got the mobility, he's got enough athleticism to do it. I think it was that second run, that big one, he essentially embarrassed, I think it was Azeez Al-Shire. He just, right out of his shoes, as soon as he makes that slight cut to the left, I believe it was, for the big run, Al-Shire's just left in cement, essentially, right? It was just a gorgeous, the fact that he's got that ability, I'd love to see him do it more often going forward.
Yeah, same. So, I don't know. Do you have anything else? We haven't talked about the defense once in this game outside of saying that they were playing well.
I think we leave it for later in the week with the defense.
Okay.
I mean, to me, there was so much controversy on the Twitter timeline surrounding Cam Ward's performance and a lot of debatable throws and misses, right? The Mason Kinseys, the Elikiah Manors, there were so many interesting Cam Ward tidbits, if you will, talking points in this game that I think this had to be centered on Cam Ward and that performance.
Right, that's fair, I'm with you. The last thing I'll talk about then on the Cam Ward performance, we've mentioned it in passing here and there, but we haven't really hit hard on it. I mean, you sort of did, but didn't really. Is that the run game was so abysmal, and you can't even look at the Titans had 58 rushing yards at 3.4 yards per carry. That's bad. That by itself is bad. But how about we remove Cam Ward rushing from that and we look at the real numbers, the actual run game numbers. 14 carries for 25 yards. I mean, you combine that with the penalty problem, and what do you expect from Cam Ward? Is this guy supposed to be Superman as a rookie? Is he supposed to be, as Chris Myers called him, I think at least 3 times, is he supposed to just be Cam Newton right now? Prime Cam Newton? Like, that's not going to happen. It's just not, you have to support your rookie quarterback more. So I actually commend his performance in this game with all these obstacles working against him, constantly facing 3rd and longs. And like, did he have a little lull of a sequence in the middle of that game that you went and talked about? Of course. That happens to quarterbacks. Like, I implore anyone who wants to hyper-focus on Cam Ward's little bad sequence that happened in the very middle of this game to go watch a football game. Go watch who you think the best quarterbacks in the league are and tell me that they are perfect on every drive of a game. It's simply not how football works. There's too many moving pieces. So, like, don't come at me with, oh, but he missed a couple throws and was strip sacked again, so therefore he's a bust. You're wrong. It's nonsense. Cam Ward may not ever end up being a top 10, top 5 quarterback. Like, I think he had that upside.
We don't know.
We don't know. I think he had that upside as a draft prospect because of his ability to make plays out of structure. He has to be better at the routine plays, though, in order to reach that. And I think, an offseason of development with a coaching staff that actually understands how to coach the sport of football will help him in those areas. But I think that it's foolish for us to say he's either a top 5 quarterback or he's a bust. And it feels to me like that's where the conversation is. It's these two areas of polar extremes that we can't just look at it and say, look, an average level quarterback can win games in the National Football League when they have a supporting cast that isn't complete garbage, right? And I think we're expecting, if Cam Ward's not a bust, then he's going to lead this team to some wins. That's not necessarily true. Like, he could be the 15th best quarterback in the league. He's not going to lead this team to wins the way they're constructed. And if he's the 15th best quarterback in the league, like, maybe that's not what you hoped when the Titans drafted him, but you can win with that. And you can build a team around that, and he can take you deep into the playoffs. And if it's your year and you get lucky, maybe he can get you to the Super Bowl, right? So I think we have to stop analyzing Cam Ward and like assessing if he's a bust or not based on whether or not he becomes one of the best quarterbacks in football. Like, it's okay. It's still a winning draft pick for this franchise if he develops into a better than average or about, 15 to 10 to 15 range quarterback. That's still a place you'd like to be. Okay. So that's my final rant on the Cam Ward discourse.
Yeah, I feel like a broken record every week, but just can't wait to see him with a real coaching staff next season and hopefully a better support. I mean, it's hard to get worse. A better supporting cast, no doubt about it. So that'll do it for this live edition of the Music City Audible podcast. We will be back tomorrow to probably talk more about Cam Ward, this football game, maybe the defense. We've got 4 episodes this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before we do another live stream after next Sunday's game. So until tomorrow, when you tune in, leave a comment below when this stream ends. Wait for us to stop talking and go away, and then leave a comment. You're going to help boost the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We've got a new subscriber goal we're trying to reach. Please, if you're watching these live streams and you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button now. You'll get the alerts, the little ding every time we go live so you don't miss another one. And sometimes we're going live in the middle of the week. We did it a bunch during trade deadline week. So you want to be subscribed. Until we're back tomorrow, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.